Is Donald Trump having repeated mini strokes? Does Donald Trump have dementia? Is it Alzheimer's? Is Donald Trump defecating on himself in these speeches when he appears to be relieving himself or on himself during these speeches? I address these issues from a very serious perspective. Donald Trump's not releasing his medical records. We saw yet another incident on Wednesday where Donald Trump was trying to open the door of a truck, and you'll take a look at his legs that he frequently drags, and he's got very little coordination. If you had a family member ever who's had a stroke, this is sadly what it looks like. And if you had family members who have a stroke, they're actually probably able to open a door better than this. But this is what happened yesterday in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Play this clip. You know, the entire sight of what I just shared with you, though, Donald Trump dressed up in a garbage man outfit. And then in his speech that he gives moments later, he talks about garbage being a very sexy word. And so that's why he's a garbage man now. And that's why he's dressing this way. So our editor-in-chief, Ron Filipkowski, just put together a montage of just a few clips of Donald Trump dragging his right leg over the last few months. Again, Donald Trump refuses to release his medical records. Let me show this to you. Now, you may remember back in November of 2019, Donald Trump was whisked away to Walter Reed Hospital. It was an emergency event that the White House at that time, it's horrible to say that Trump was in the White House, but he was. The Trump White House claimed that it was just a routine physical, which absolutely makes no sense at all. But this was this emergency visit to Walter Reed. And then Donald Trump, shortly thereafter, September 2020, he posted, he goes, "It never ends. Now they are trying to say that your favorite president, me, went to Walter Reed Medical Center having suffered a series of mini strokes. Never happened to this candidate. Fake news. Perhaps they are referring to another candidate from another party." I just want you to think, he was the president at that time making tweets like that. I mean, just from setting aside the serious medical issues that he seems to have. I mean, again, that's such an embarrassing thing for anybody to write. Let me share this with you right here, though. This is from November 2019. Here's a renowned doctor right here. His name is Dr. David Shiner. It's actually Obama's doctor. And here's what he says about that November 2019 incident. This was recorded in November 2019. So just to show you that doctors were talking about Donald Trump's slurring of his words back then. Here, play it.
His inability to say words sometimes worries me tremendously. He is having trouble word finding when he said United States instead of United States. These aren't words, these aren't slips of the tongue. These are words, he can't find them. And this is happening over and over again. Comedians joke about it, but it's not a joking matter. I think there is a neurological issue that is not being addressed. And if he had an MRI of his head over there, I would be very pleased, because I think he needs it.
Is that something that could have happened in the 2-hour time he was there?
Yes, it certainly could. And it's the worry that I have is that maybe he's having small strokes. And, you know, we had that once before in the White House when Woodrow Wilson was president. His inability to find words is peculiar and has not been explained. And I think one has to think of it as a possible neurological issue.
Now, let me just give you some examples of Donald Trump glitching or failing to read a teleprompter. Here he is in the garbage man outfit in Green Bay, Wisconsin, last night. Here he struggles to read the prompter. Let's play this.
Have to go back a long way to target and dismantle every migrant criminal network.
Here he is in Las Vegas. Here was a strange glitch. Let's play it.
I know every player, but this is who we're really fighting. These are the people who are doing such tremendous armed.
Here Trump glitches while trying to say he will eliminate the Department of Education. Play it.
Ultimately, we'll live, and you know what we're doing here. I say it all the time. I'm dying to get back to do this. We will ultimately eliminate the Federal Department of Education. And
Trump glitches while saying Kamala. Play it.
As a senator, this one.
Trump glitches. Play it.
On those wars, in conclusion.
Trump glitching. I could show you. You get the point. I'll show you just a few more, but throughout his speeches, it's one after another like this. Trump glitching heavily with claims of defunding police and violent mobs. Play it.
Should not stop. She said she was endorsing to fund the police, and she said, violent mobs, let the violent mobs keep going.
Here Trump appears to glitch and then points to Mike Lindell, the pillow guy. Play it.
And in particular, and remember this. Oh, wait a minute. Mike Lindell, please stand up, okay?
Here Donald Trump is glitching while trying to say libertarian. Play it.
It's time to be a winner. So I'm asking for the liberation. Well, think of it.
Here Trump glitches just seconds into his unhinged speech, saying something about constant blockouts and blackouts. Play it.
And you'll have constant blockouts and blackouts and rampant inflation.
Here, Donald Trump appears to be glitching, saying they're pumping it as much as they can. Here, play it.
Before they are doing, they're pumping it as much as they can under the Trump. They're saying, keep it going, let them keep going. If this election ended as a failed election or a rigged election, and I say the only way it can end where they win is a rigged election, because what they did in 2020 is disgraceful. And look what happened. Look what happened to our country.
Now, you'll also recall that during Donald Trump's speech recently in Detroit, one of the things that appeared was Donald Trump defecating on himself, relieving himself in public. You could hear him. He's clearly passing gas on himself. But this is not unique to this incident here. This was a week or two back. In this speech, he was like attacking Detroit. But listen, play the clip.
This is a catastrophe for the American dream and a dire crisis from commerce to labor to FEMA.
And just to show you, this is Donald Trump and the late Senator Dianne Feinstein. When Donald Trump was in office, he relieved himself or passed gas on Dianne Feinstein. And play this clip.
So today we're here in a bipartisan fashion to show leadership in an effort to end this senseless violence. It can be ended.
There are other ones like that too. There's multiple other clips of him doing that. You get the point. It's Donald Trump defecating or relieving himself. I want to share this with you as well, though. This is Donald Trump's former doctor. His name was Dr. Harold Bornstein. He passed away under mysterious circumstances in 2021, but you'll recall that in 2018, he stated that Donald Trump's personal bodyguard, Keith Schiller, and others broke into his medical practice and then seized Donald Trump's medical records and took all of Donald Trump's medical records to hide them. Here, play this clip.
Exactly were they looking for?
All his medical records, his pictures, anything they could find. We must have been here for 25 to 30 minutes. It created a lot of chaos. I couldn't believe anybody was making a big deal about a drug that's to grow his hair, which seemed to be so important. And it certainly is not a breach of medical trust to tell somebody they take Propecia to grow their hair. What's the matter with that?
Today's modern diet makes it hard to avoid extra sugar. It's in just about everything. And let's be honest, most of us aren't eating enough fiber. That's where Sugar to Fiber comes in. Built by PhD microbiologists at ZBiotics, this product is designed to help your body turn some of that extra sugar into a beneficial prebiotic fiber called lecithin. Here's how it works. Sugar to Fiber produces an enzyme called lecithin sucrase that breaks down sugar into its building blocks, and then it stacks those blocks together to make fiber. By drinking Sugar to Fiber every day, you're giving your microbiome more of what it needs, fiber, and less of what it doesn't, like extra sugar. This leads to a more balanced microbiome, which is key to maintaining a healthy gut. I started using Sugar to Fiber because I wanted an easy way to boost my fiber intake without having to completely change what I eat. And I love the fact that it's using extra sugar I'm already consuming and turning it into something beneficial. I usually add it to my morning smoothie, and it's nice knowing I'm supporting my gut health with just one simple step. Sugar to Fiber is the newest product from ZBiotics, but they also offer a pre-alcohol probiotic to help with those rough mornings after a night out. Head over to zbiotics.com/Meidas and use the code Meidas at checkout. That's MEIDAS for 15% off any ZBiotics probiotics. Plus, they have a 100% money-back guarantee, so if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Thank you to ZBiotics for sponsoring this episode.
Right. So again, you see that back then Donald Trump was hiding these medical records. Dr. Bornstein wrote Donald Trump's really only medical report that we've seen in 2015, but Dr. Bornstein then later said that he didn't write it. Donald Trump wrote his own medical note and had Bornstein sign it. And really all it says is, if elected, I can state unequivocally that Trump is the healthiest individual ever to be in office. It's so ridiculous. And Bornstein said, I didn't even write that. Trump wrote the note. I'll show you just like at Donald, like obviously there's a double standard here. I mean, Donald Trump goes around doing all of these things and the media barely pays it attention. But fortunately, thanks to you, we've built this platform at the MeidasTouch Network where we're calling this out. Like here, Donald Trump's recent speech in Wisconsin, where he sees a fly and then spends all this time talking about there's a fly over here. Here, play this clip.
We were so worried.
They're eating the dogs.
He wasn't making any sense.
The people come in. They're eating the cats.
And he just kept getting worse.
They did dumps. That's what they call them, dumps. Big, massive dumps.
Gross.
In Michigan and Pennsylvania. All over.
We had to do something.
They will take the life of the child in the 9th month. Even after birth, they'll execute the baby.
You sound crazy right now.
Then a friend told us there was somewhere he could get the help he so desperately needed, called A Place for Trump.
Person, woman, man, camera, TV.
Now he has round-the-clock support and can enjoy the things he loves, like eating cheeseburgers and rage posting at 3 a.m.
I know windmills very much, and they're driving the whales, I think, a little batty.
Sure.
So this November, let's vote to put him in A Place for Trump, because we all know he belongs in a home, just not this one.
I have concepts of a plan.
Of course you do.
Back in 2020, we made this video, and this is what we said. Will Trump finally tell us why he was rushed to Walter Reed? Will we find out the real reason he took a cognitive test intended to screen for signs of dementia? Here, play this clip.
Who is more competent? Whose mind is sounder? Biden beats you in that.
Well, I tell you what, let's take a test. Let's take a test right now. Let's go down. Joe and I will take a test. Let him take the same test that I took.
Incidentally, I took the test too when I heard that you passed it.
Yeah, how did you do it?
Well, it's not the hardest test.
No, but
There's a picture and it says, what's that? And it's an elephant.
No. You see, that's all misrepresentation.
Well, that's what it was on the web.
It's all misrepresentation. Because, yes, the first few questions are easy, but I'll bet you couldn't even answer the last 5 questions. I'll bet you couldn't. They get very hard, the last 5 questions.
Well, one of them was count back from 100 by 7.
And let me tell you, you couldn't answer. You couldn't answer.
All right, what's the question?
Many of the questions. I just look at school. I watch. I read. Look at the stuff.
And here's Donald Trump at a recent speech in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, where he tells this crowd he doesn't have cognitive problems, no cognitive, no cognitive, no cognitive. Here, play the clip.
But the one thing they said that was great, we've watched this guy for 20 years. The one thing we know is that he's got no cognitive problem. I have no cognitive. She may have a cognitive problem, but there's no cognitive problem. It was nice that they actually said that. They said, you know, if anyone has any questions, we were grilling this guy for 2 hours or 2.5 hours. Got no cognitive. In fact, if anything, he's maybe better. I don't even know if I like this. Maybe he's better than he was 20 years ago. So anyway, no.
And here's the ad by Congress member Eric Swalwell, where it says Donald Trump deserves to be in a home, just not the White House home. Here, play it.
We were so worried.
They're eating the dogs.
He wasn't making any sense.
The people come in. They're eating the cats.
And he just kept getting worse.
They did dumps. That's what they call them, dumps. Big, massive dumps.
Gross.
In Michigan and Pennsylvania. All over.
We had to do something.
They will take the life of the child in the 9th month. Even after birth, they'll execute the baby.
You sound crazy right now.
Then a friend told us there was somewhere he could get the help he so desperately needed, called A Place for Trump.
Person, woman, man, camera, TV.
Now he has round-the-clock support and can enjoy the things he loves, like eating cheeseburgers and rage posting at 3 a.m.
I know windmills very much, and they're driving the whales, I think, a little batty.
Sure.
So this November, let's vote to put him in A Place for Trump, because we all know he belongs in a home, just not this one.
I have concepts of a plan.
Of course you do.
You know, but look, it's a very serious matter. I try to handle it delicately here. It is very obvious that he has serious physical issues. It's obvious that, again, I don't think he's going to win, but if he were, it's really a J.D. Vance presidency at this point, because you see how impaired Donald Trump is. This is not someone who should be anywhere near nuclear codes, anywhere near anything. I mean, it's quite literally very, very, very existential, life or death. This guy can't be near anything. I mean, you see it for yourself. And, I want to hear from you what you think that this, that this ailment is. I'll show you, when he stands and gives these speech, he has these toe pads now. Do you see these toe pads? To keep him balanced. He has toe pads that keep him balanced. I'll give them credit. The Las Vegas Sun wrote the following editorial: Donald Trump's cognitive decline becoming a troubling concern. Americans from both sides of the political spectrum should be alarmed by Trump's words and behavior. The nation must confront the fact that beyond his hateful character, he is crippled cognitively and showing clear signs of mental illness. And again, last night, this is what Donald Trump said to Hannity: we're going to have countries pouring back into our country. Here, play the clip.
And now we're going to make America great again. We're going to make it great again. And we have the formula. It's down pat. This country, we're going to have jobs. We're going to have countries pouring back into our country.
There's a lot there. In Donald Trump's speech also in Wisconsin, I'm not going to play the clip here because I've showed it in other videos, where Donald Trump says that whether women like it or not, this is what he said in the speech, he's going to force himself on women to protect them. Regardless of what women want, he goes, I'm going to be your protector. Even if you don't want me, I'm going to force myself on you and be your protector. He's like a sick guy. Said like, this is not a conservative guy. This isn't a conservative thing. I'm showing you these data points because I think give you my opinion. My opinion, he's had a number of mini strokes. In my opinion, he has dementia. In my opinion, he doesn't even really know where he is in a given day. And in my opinion, He's on a lot of medication. That's my opinion. That's why he doesn't want, why wouldn't you release your medical records also like during the Butler, Pennsylvania shooting? Just show the people the medical records, because he's on such a medical regimen, in my opinion. Remember the White House medical records? Not the medical, how the White House was turned into a pill mill under Dr. Ronnie Jackson, and they were giving out like fentanyl patches in the White House. Massive amounts of fentanyl was just being passed out without accountability in the White House, right? Let's think about, there was Versed, which is the date rape drug, being passed out. You had ketamine, massive amounts of ketamine being given out in the White House, massive amounts. And then all other types of other drugs as well. But just think about that. And it barely registers as a story. We talk about it on the MeidasTouch network, but come on. Come on, this is really life or death. So if you weren't thinking about voting, selfishly think about your life and the life of your family, friends, people that you love in your life, because it's a sick, sick, sick individual in Donald Trump who's going to hurt you. I have no doubt about that. I don't want that to happen. So we have a few days. Let's do something about it, eh? Let's make sure people vote. That's the best thing we can do. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 4 million subscribers. Thanks for watching.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.